All right, welcome everyone to 1 Yard Short. This is episode number 1 of our podcast. I'm Jimmy, and I am joined by Randy.
What's going on, guys?
And we're here to talk about some sports with you guys. Well, football is obviously the big topic right now, so we can start there. There's no more college football, and we're less than a month left of pro football, and what am I supposed to watch until baseball?
Hockey.
Wrong.
You're gonna watch.
Try again.
You're gonna watch the Boston Bruins along with me.
Okay, that's sure.
all I'm about.
If you can, that's what I say. If anyone can convert me to hockey, good luck. Props to you. I say, there's no. I don't know what I'm gonna do once the Super Bowl's over. What am I gonna do for the next 2 months? I'm not gonna watch the NBA or the NHL.
Well, you have March Madness.
That's true. Oh, that's true. We still do have college basketball, huh?
Yeah, because you've admitted that you only like college basketball in March anyway.
That's true. College basketball season's a bit long.
Yeah, you just like when it comes down.
Although this might be, an interesting thing this year with the NBA shortened season, maybe I'll actually pay attention because the games will matter a bit more now. We don't have 82 games stretched across like 6 months.
That's true. I don't know. With the NBA, I'm kind of like you when it comes to college basketball. I watch just the NBA in the playoffs. That's about it.
I kind of like this condensed season so far. Making teams play like 6 games in 8 nights and have triple back-to-backs. I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah,
make those players
interesting.
Make those players earn that $20 million a year.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, well, let's get to some college football. The national championship game was Monday night, less than a week ago. Alabama, LSU, and it was terrible.
It was terrible. Didn't you sleep through half?
Yeah, I had to work at 5 a.m. that morning, so I started to watch. When I woke back up, it was already the second half. But
just like, oh.
I woke up, it's like, 15-0. LSU had 1 first down. I'm glad I slept.
15-0. It's deceiving. It really should have been 35-0.
Yeah, LSU's defense came through.
Yeah, but they had no backup at all. Their offense couldn't do anything all night. I watched it from the second quarter through, and it was horrible. It was just not the rematch that people were envisioning. They knew it was gonna be tight, but it was all one-sided. It was a defensive struggle still, but
and it's not like LSU's offense has been struggling all season. They were putting up 30 and 40 points against all the other SEC teams this year.
Well, they were saying that, it kind of looked like the SEC championship game because Georgia totally outplayed LSU in the first half, and LSU put things together in the second half. And during the championship game, Alabama and LSU, the commentators at halftime were putting faith in an LSU comeback in the second half, but LSU never woke up. They were asleep the whole game.
And I think the thing that was most disappointing about the national title game, not that it was just an unsatisfactory ending, it just wasn't a very aesthetically pleasing game, is all the games up until that game were awesome this year.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was. It was just really anticlimactic.
Normally, college, I think that kind of put a big damper to the ending of the whole season. But if you had any of the other BCS games, probably instead of this one, if you had the Rose Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl, to close out the whole season, I don't think you'd be hearing much of any of this.
Right. Well, actually, speaking of the championship game, since it was between 2 SEC teams,
which was dumb.
I don't know if you saw the commercial, but there was a commercial. How they usually promote the conferences in the game. Obviously it was all SEC, right?
Each school does their own little fluff videos promoting it,
exactly, promoting their school. Well, in this particular commercial, it was an SEC commercial, and it was showing how they won. Well, it was 4 straight up until that point. 4 straight championships. It showed Tebow. It showed the Alabama running back. What was his name?
Mark Ingram.
Yeah, they showed him.
By the way, did you see Ingram getting? He was on the sideline after Trent Richardson scored that touchdown in the fourth quarter. Did you see Mark Ingram? No. Mark Ingram was on the sideline and he was getting all up in his face and stuff and hyping him up, and it's kind of crazy to see those two. They were both in the backfield at the same time.
Right. what was
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The
So
SEC commercial.
Yeah. So they were showing all of the clips,
National title winners and stuff.
and then at the very end they showed. It said SEC 4 straight national titles, and then it said and another one this year.
Oh God, what a bunch of how arrogant can you be? You know why they had another one coming this year? Because no other conference was given a chance to.
Right? See, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, how, I don't know, like, because the way, okay, if you envision this matchup, Alabama's one loss was already to LSU, right? So I don't know how, the reason why Alabama gets in and not Oklahoma State is because Oklahoma State, like, their loss came more recent than the Alabama loss to LSU,
and
right?
it was to an unranked opponent.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, hats off to Oklahoma State for winning their bowl game. I mean,
yeah, they beat Stanford in the Fiesta Bowl.
But they, in my opinion, should have been in this championship game against LSU. But
yeah, and the other thing is no one talks about is how the women's basketball coach at the university died in a plane crash the day before that game. And I mean, dude, if that happened to an SEC school, you can guarantee that would be all they're talking about.
Yeah, of course. And I think I saw a video, or not a video, a blog report about how the SEC has dominated college football these last 5 years.
That's because that's all there is down in the South. Well, all they have is football.
They're bred to play football. I mean, they're showing
that's why.
all the high schools, all the top high schools, and how much support they have from the locals, and since they're winning all these titles and stuff, they have the most money.
Yeah.
They have the better equipment, better facilities, and better recruiting classes. So I don't know. It's I think it's putting a damper on the sport, and it's not fun for everyone else.
I mean, I think the SEC's reputation as the premier college football conference is well deserved. I mean, they've earned it, just by default, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
well, yeah.
That's why I'm kind of eager for next season. Alabama's losing all these players to the draft. Richardson and Dante Hightower and Dre Kirkpatrick just declared, and I'm sure more will be soon, maybe.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because they released the top 25, basically as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so dumb. LSU, Alabama, and Arkansas are all within the top 7.
And I don't see. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't see how you can release a top 25 poll. Or did you mean the final poll of this season, or do you mean for next year?
For next year.
See, that's just all speculation. I don't put any stock into that. I think I read somewhere that some top 25 poll for next season is going to have Cal in the top 25. I mean...
And we know that's totally off.
Oh, false.
False.
I'd like it to be true, but... no, well, that's the kind of thing, next year we're going to hopefully see a little bit more competition. Maybe hopefully Oregon won't drop 2 games. USC's not going to be sanctioned anymore.
Yeah, Matt Barkley coming back.
I think USC's going to be the team to beat next year.
Well, they're definitely a team to beat in the pack. I think they can easily probably run the table in the pack.
I think so.
Do you know what their out of conference games are?
Oh, probably no one difficult at all. Because there's probably going to be one AA opponent. I will say this. Or did you hear about this also? The Pac-12 entered into an agreement with the Big Ten. So starting in 2017, they're going to each play each team's going to play some other team, each non-conference game.
Oh, really?
So, and it's not even just going to be the big schools like Ohio State and USC. You're going to see Ohio State, Michigan, or Wisconsin. You're going to see them playing Oregon State and Washington State. And
that's awesome.
So I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of a bit of a preemptive strike to these, super conference, 16 teams alleged super conferences, and that's kind of like what the Mountain West and Conference USA were doing. Also, they're kind of announced this little alliance, and so, But no, I mean that's the one thing I'll say. At least the Pac-12 schools schedule tough teams in the non-conference, unlike the SEC where they just play all these crappy small schools.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the
absurd.
best teams in the SEC are themselves, though. You know, like
yeah.
I mean, come on, like Arkansas, like yeah, they're a top-tier team, but they lost to the two best teams in their division.
Lost to LSU and Alabama.
Alabama, yeah, the number 1 and 2, you know. So, I mean, other than that, you figure they could have beaten anyone, supposedly, you know.
Yeah.
So.
All right, USC's got Hawaii, Syracuse, and Notre Dame next year.
Well, they always play Notre Dame.
Yeah, so Hawaii and Syracuse.
I mean, Notre Dame will be serviceable, but they're not going to win.
That's interesting. USC's going back east to Oh, that's actually not even at the Carrier Dome. They're playing at MetLife Stadium. They're playing where the Giants and Jets play for that game. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. Huh. Well, that makes things interesting. Are they playing at the island in Hawaii?
No, Hawaii's coming to the Coliseum.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, the island does
going from Hawaii to New Jersey or New York.
Yeah,
in 2 straight weeks. That would be insane.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy. So, Oh, what else is going on? Robert Griffin declared for the draft.
Well, yeah. Well, he finally declared it because
everyone saw that coming.
Well, yeah, like everyone were just projecting him to do it, but then he was seriously talking to his coaches and stuff, and I guess it came with the conclusion that he should enter the draft.
No, he'd already graduated. And, I don't think there's really much else for him to gain there aside from a BCS bowl game, but I don't know how likely that would be.
Yeah, no.
So,
but anyway, I mean, did you want talk about the Stanford Oklahoma State game? I mean, that game was
not really.
well,
no, we could talk about it. It was Andrew Luck's last game, and he kind of went out with his college career, kind of ended with a whimper, and through no fault of his own.
Yeah, that I mean, I watched that night. I actually was working, but I ended up.
Yeah, because I was giving you the updates.
Yeah, you were giving me. Yeah, you were my. Yeah, you were my update.
I was your text message box score.
Yeah, basically, you're texting me every 10 seconds. It was funny, but no.
I was gonna say those were some busy games. That and the Rose Bowl. Those were a lot of texts sent during those games.
Well, I mean, in that game, I ended up watching. I think the last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's all you needed to see, really. That was what it came down to.
I mean, because Oklahoma State scored, and then Stanford marches down the field, and then Luck. How far was that? 44 yards.
It wasn't that far. It was probably 40s. It wasn't too difficult.
40s. It was doable, but obviously, Oklahoma State iced the kicker, and then I was like, it's not going to matter. This kid you could just tell he's got the
rattle. Well, he's a redshirt freshman, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or maybe not even a redshirt. He might have been a true freshman even.
But I mean, when he kicked it, it wasn't even close.
No. You could tell as soon as that thing left the tee or left the placeholder's hand, dude. That thing was shanked.
Yeah, and then Andrew Luck was like, oh. But then
kind of typical Stanford quarterbacks just not ever winning.
Right?
John Elway didn't even go to a bowl game in his senior year, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the way I pictured Andrew Luck, leaving. But hey, he should be excited because he's gonna get a fat paycheck next year. So
he's going to the Colts, and I think the Colts you have to take Luck no matter what.
No
matter what the Peyton Manning situation is.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that team has a lot more issues besides the quarterback position.
Oh God, they just fired the entire front office. Also,
yeah, no, I mean that defense is just horrible. I mean, because it wasn't.
Well, the defense was horrible for the last 10 years, but Peyton Manning was always able to.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a different thing if your offense is playing
that's
45 points a game.
If your defense is on the field the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know, the Colts still have a lot more rebuilding to do. So
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think that's probably a good place to leave this one off. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. This has been the 1 Yard Short Podcast, episode number 1. Give us a like, give us a comment, let us know what you think. Subscribe if you liked what you heard. I'm Jimmy, and he's Randy, and thanks for listening. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good night.
Later, guys.